Analyst Dan Ives is becoming increasingly more bullish on Tesla AI, and now I'm starting to see him discuss Tesla Optimus. Check this out, the title of this video: Optimus will be a game changer for Tesla by 2026. Before we watch this clip from Dan, I'll say that if he's right and Optimus is a game changer for Tesla by 2026, it most certainly will also be a valuation changer. Now, whether it's 26, 27, 2069, the point remains, at scale, useful humanoid robots cause the marginal cost of labor, and that includes intelligence, to fall towards zero. There had never been a greater opportunity. Not even close.
Talk to me about your thesis. So as we see a rare earth crackdown, where China's trying to limit the exports of rare earths to the U.S., you say Tesla's the best position to deal with that because they do about 40% of their deliveries in China.
Yeah, I mean, look, it speaks to why they made such a big bet on China, with Gigafactory in Shanghai. This is going to really, I think, insulate them. When you look at the raw materials, look, that right now, I mean, that's the biggest worry in autos. And even when you think about things like, Optimus and robots, but for Tesla, they're in a very good position of strength here. As well as also, you're seeing delivery strength in China, and that's what they're betting on. And I think you're seeing a comeback here. A big part of this $2 trillion, ultimately bull case $3 trillion thesis is the China story for Tesla.
For those of you playing along at home, a $3 trillion market cap, which Dan Ives just casually threw out there, roughly $900 per share for Tesla stock.
Okay. Even though 40% of the deliveries are in China, the other 60% are around the world. A big portion of those are right here in the U.S. Are there concerns about increasing cost of rare earths, potentially impacting margins? And also, the company just announced a lineup of lower cost vehicles. How do you see it impacting that lineup?
Yeah, look, it's a concern. I mean, Frank, if you think about it, I mean, the price points probably would have been, called 4,000 or 5,000 lower. I mean, they gave themselves flexibility given increasing prices, but also they do have an advantage in the U.S. because in the U.S., given, you look at the vast majority of that is produced in U.S. parts, so they're not really exposed like some others relative to tariffs and some others.
So jumping in here, Dan's point about Tesla and their extreme localization of supply chains on each continent they have factories is important. Not something you do because you're concerned about the possibility of future tariffs, but because it makes business sense. Why source materials and parts from the other side of the planet? Everything that entails long shipping times, additional costs to move stuff around, when you could just build out a local supply chain. Just wanted to remind everybody, including Dan, who may have forgotten or be unaware, Tesla's 2023 Investor Day, specifically discussing rare earths. In case you missed yesterday's video, a lot of posturing currently happening from China, potential absurdly high tariffs, export controls on rare earth materials. I won't rehash that, but just for some context, go watch yesterday's video if you're confused. Let's see what Tesla had to say about this subject back in 2023.
Transformative for the adoption of EVs and our ability to scale them. There's one more thing that I want to highlight. So I talked about how we had reduced the amount of rare earth in our powertrains. And as the world transitions to clean energy, the demand for rare earth is really increasing dramatically. And not only is it going to be a little hard to meet that demand, but mining that rare earth, it has environmental and health risks. So we want to do even better than this. We have designed our next drive unit, which uses a permanent magnet motor, to not use any rare earth materials at all. So how does all...
That's right. 2023, Tesla discussing their next-gen permanent magnet motor with zero rare earths. Now, moments earlier, we heard how critically important rare earths currently are and how increasingly difficult it was becoming to obtain them. This is exactly why now we hear China essentially squeezing the world by the nuts, threatening to throttle supply of these already very difficult to obtain, increasingly costly materials. Tesla always many steps ahead. Now, was Tesla expecting China to take this kind of action? Unlikely, but Tesla was thinking, well, this shit's getting harder to get. We need a lot of it. We're scaling rapidly. Maybe we could just, I don't know, invent a new motor that doesn't have any of these extremely expensive, hard to obtain rare earths. Why don't we just do that? Yeah, let's do that. And then we'll tell our investors we're going to do that as well. Seems to be a recurring theme throughout Tesla's history. They do things that make sense, that are logical ahead of time, and then there's a major shift, a change, a threat of a tariff or so on, and they look like geniuses with the crystal ball. From localizing supply chain to inventing new motors that don't have these extremely hard to come by rare earth materials. The end result of Tesla's big brain activity and foresight and doing things that make sense is that in every case, so far that the shit has hit the fan, or is potentially going to hit the fan. Tesla is far and away least affected of anyone in their industry, and it's not even close. For those of you not watching, just listening on, confirming again Dan Ives' current Tesla price target, $600 per share for Tesla stock. Quite a distance from his April 2025 price target.
I think right now, when you look overall global, Tesla right now is in the best position, but it continues to be the AI play. Because when you think about autonomous and robotics, that's going to be the key to the valuation that I think continues to go higher. Raw materials, I don't view that as really putting any dent in what I view as what's going to be one of the biggest AI growth stories over the next decade.
All right, really quickly, I want to go back to those lower cost vehicles. The last time Tesla reported deliveries was about 497,000. You say the lower cost cars get them up to about 600,000 vehicles in deliveries per quarter, but you didn't give a time frame. So when do these lower cost vehicles accelerate these deliveries?
I think by first half 2026. So I think this is something that's really going to have a significant impact for Tesla, as well as what you're seeing really in this China rebound. So, you look at these low cost vehicles, that's going to give them added sort of, what I think the biggest metric right now is, can you get above 500,000? I think this is going to enable them to get above 600,000. And that's why right now I see bright days ahead for Tesla. It's a table pounder in my opinion. I think $600 is conservative, in terms of where I see the stock going over the next year.
If 600 per share for Tesla stock is conservative over the next 12 months, I'd love to hear what he actually thinks. It's been a few days now since the announcement of Tesla's entry-level, more affordable Model 3 and Y launching in the US, and now also starting to launch globally. Clearly going to help Tesla to sell more vehicles over time. More people can afford them. I ruthlessly roasted a lot of the extremely emotional and fairly dim crybabies whining at the announcement of these vehicles and the price points. Comments such as, should have been cheaper, it's not good enough, I can't believe they removed these features, this sucks, Tesla, you're doing it wrong. And possibly the single dumbest of all of these recurring comments from people who seemed to be under the impression the only country on the entire planet Earth was the United States, who are saying that, well, the EV tax credit was $7,500. That means these are even more expensive than that. They're more expensive now. As Dan pointed out earlier, with Tesla's China sales accounting for not far off half. I mean, hello. It's okay to live in a bubble. We have to at least recognize you live in a bubble. Most markets on Earth where Tesla vehicles are sold are not the United States, meaning they sure as fuck aren't impacted by the $7,500 EV tax credit in the United States going away. And obviously, Tesla will be selling these new vehicles in every market they currently sell in globally, and then some. You have to be pretty dim not to recognize that more affordable entry-level 3 and Y vehicles available to consumers the world over will result in more consumers buying them. Now, that said, I don't really give a flying fuck about Tesla's automotive business. As long as it's roughly steady state and or breaking even, that's all I care about. The reason is because I'm focused on AI, autonomy, Optimus, and how quickly Tesla is able to scale both of these colossal opportunities. But hey, I mean, you do you. If you want to be the guy who's singularly focused on Amazon book sales, quarter over quarter book sales growth or declines 15 years ago, as Amazon Web Services is about to change the game, go for it.
All right, here's kind of the fun part. We're going to show some video of the Optimus robot, but it's not all fun and games when it comes to this robot, because you say production of this robot could actually be negatively impacted by these rare earth restrictions. Talk to me about that. When you're saying it's going to be impacted, would that slow down the ability of the company to produce them? Would it slow down their ability to, increase the cost? Like, what would be the impact in your mind that you see as separate from the cars?
Yeah, and look, Musk has talked about it. I mean, that's probably, if you think about it over the next year, I mean, that is, Optimus is going to be the game changer for Tesla. I don't think that this is going to in any way change the mass volume for 2026, but could it delay things? Yeah. And that's why for Tesla, I mean, Musk, he's really 10% politician, 90% CEO relative to what he's done in China, needing to make sure that this doesn't in any way dent either autonomous, cybercabs, or Optimus when it comes to robots.
Really quick with
Valid point from Dan regarding Musk being 10% politician as it relates to China. For those who don't know, a quick history lesson on Tesla. Prior to the announcement that they were going to build their first international factory in Shanghai, in China, China was imposing very large, I guess you'd call them, tariffs on US-made Tesla vehicles being sold in China. Tesla then announces their intent to build a factory in Shanghai, which, by the way, went up in record time. Astonishing stuff. It's amazing how quickly you can get shit done in China. Less than a year from muddy field to first vehicles rolling off production lines. Insane. Factory gets announced immediately. Those import duties/tariffs on the Tesla vehicles are abolished as a show of good faith. The CCP also leaned on/forced local Chinese lenders to provide capital to Tesla for a portion of the construction costs of this factory for below market interest rates, and Tesla became the first foreign automaker allowed to build and wholly own a factory in China. Prior to then, everyone was forced to do a 50-50 joint venture partnership with a local Chinese company. The CCP really rolled out the red carpet for Tesla, got on their hands and knees and said, "I'm all yours." Never been done before. You have to ask yourself the question, why? And the answer is, clearly, someone at Tesla, most likely Elon himself, is a masterful negotiator. And no doubt the pitch to China would have been something along the lines of, this is going to help your EV industry as well. Local competition from a foreign company likely to embarrass some of your local EV makers, going to incentivize them to chase and compete. There'll be some talent exchange. Everybody wins. It'll be great for the Chinese EV industry. What do you say? Musk and Tesla don't get enough credit for this. An unprecedented series of events. The biggest, of course, being able to have a foreign automaker, Tesla, be the first to build a factory in China without being forced to have a 50-50 Chinese joint venture partner, who, by the way, would siphon off half of the profits of this venture.
Quick with Optimus, and we got to go. Is this an industrial robot in your mind, or is it a consumer play? Like, do we have these in our houses doing things?
Yeah. I think it's going to be industrial in terms of factories, but I think it's going to be consumers. When it comes to humanoid robots, this is going to be the wave of the future, and that's why it's my view, Tesla. When it comes to physical AI plays, there's the godfather of AI, Jensen, NVIDIA, and then there's Tesla. And I think it's probably the most undervalued AI play in the market, in my opinion.
He's not wrong. I expect initially Optimus humanoid robots' first deployment will be commercial. Tesla is their own first customer. Get them working in some factory situations. Next minute, you can start selling them to comparable customers, increase their capabilities, and remember, as soon as a single robot learns a new skill, the whole fleet can almost instantly learn that same ability. So we'll have warehouses, factories, manufacturing, logistics. I'm sure Amazon warehouses would be all over Optimus humanoid robots. But not long after that, they will be available in homes. No doubt, they'll also be out on the streets collecting trash. Ultimately, the real question is, what will the correct ratio be of humanoid robots to humans? I don't just mean how many will you have at home, but I mean how many on Earth, including those in commercial situations as well. The global population of humans is approaching 10 billion before almost inevitably imploding, but hey, let's not go there. So let's say we get to 10 billion. How many tens of billions of humanoid robots then? Even if there was just a 1-to-1 ratio, one humanoid robot per average person on Earth, you then got to think about the commercial settings as well. There's absolutely a future in which there are 30, 40, 50 billion, 100 billion plus humanoid robots on Earth. And make no mistake, Tesla intends on capturing a very large slice of that opportunity. Don't forget that the 2025 CEO Performance Award for Tesla, which Tesla shareholders are currently voting on, and make sure you do. If you own Tesla shares, go vote now, bitches. If you don't know how, go to votetesla.com. This requires not only the deployment of 1 million Tesla Robotaxis, plus an additional 1 million consumers subscribing to FSD, but also the commercial deployment of 1 million Optimus humanoid robots. So who am I to argue with Dan Ives, who thinks that Tesla is the most undervalued AI opportunity currently available, at least in the public market? Want more content? Early access? A bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 is awesome. I've been taking it daily now for more than 3 years. It's a great way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's packed full of vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus has prebiotics, probiotics, and adaptogens to improve gut health, regularity, and help your body handle stress. I'm always looking for an edge to help me feel and perform my best, which is why I haven't missed a day of AG1 for more than 3 years. Just try it and see how you feel. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs.